The lung is just like a pear. The upper portion is small and the lower portion is big, large. So when you breathe superficially with the upper portion of the lung, you will only fill up the lungs 10%, 15%. And in that case, you cannot breathe slowly because you will suffocate. So you'll have to breathe very fast. Normally people take from 10 to 20 breaths per minute. And that type of breathing makes mind agitated, cannot concentrate, cannot comprehend also things. If you want to comprehend an idea, you are reading some poetry and you are not getting it. What's the gist of it? So to comprehend that, you have to slow down your breath. And after you have understood, you will do like that. If you are setting the thread into the needle, how you breathe? You don't breathe. After you have done your job, you will breathe in, breathe out. Why you do like that? Because every time when you need a subtle alignment between your vision and your motor organs, then you need to have control over the vital energy. You need to have control over the nerves and the mind. And that is only possible when the breath is suspended. So we have to slowly learn how to suspend our breathing process. And at the same time not to suffocate, not to die from lack of oxygen. So slowly suspend the breath, make it non-existent. I told you before that sometimes people ask me, Dada, in meditation, I feel I'm not breathing. No, don't worry, you are breathing. You will not die, but you're breathing slowly. Normally, people who are doing good meditation, deep meditation, they breathe about 2 times per minute, sometimes 1 time per minute. I had a friend, he was really remarkable. He was doing a special breath control technique and he managed to do 14 breath cycles in 1.5 hours, 90 minutes. So can you imagine? Several minutes you are taking 1 breath in and 1 breath out. And he got really remarkable capabilities of the mind. He told to me, whenever I concentrate in the body, a certain subtle reality opens up before me. And he was describing different structures he was seeing there. And later on I went to the person who is practicing a special type of yoga called Vishesh Yoga. That is very advanced form of yoga. And I described what his experience, and he said, your friend is very advanced. Because the ancient rishis, ancient masters, they have described all these things. And we are meditating, utilizing that knowledge. But he is experiencing it directly. And memory power depends on the breath. If the breath is very fast, sometimes people think that, I'm not intellectual, I'm not smart. This may not be the case. Just the breath is too fast due to wrong habits, maybe wrong food, maybe you just don't know how to breathe. And because the breath is fast, the intellectuality is not there, the memory power is not there. I have experienced myself when I started to practice the breath control technique. My memory has improved so much, and it's just become very sharp. And things I have remembered, I still remember. So there is a huge impact of the breath on the mind, on intellect and the memory. So we have to learn how to breathe and how to breathe. I want to breathe very slowly. In meditation I sit. I want to suspend the breath, just be without breath, in that complete silence, in the beatitude of that peace, which is when the breath is not there. But I want to breathe because I feel that the oxygen is not enough. So yogis have invented something called full yogic breath. Of course, yogis have invented something more. It is called pranayama, the control over the prana, vital energy. But that is a little tricky, is a bit dangerous. It may elevate you and it may degenerate you. There are so many subtle nuances when you're learning those techniques. I will explain in a separate video about this. And then you have to learn it directly from the teacher in the personal instruction, especially from the teacher who knows what he's teaching about, because nowadays you can practice pranayama in every yoga studio, and this is completely out of question. In ancient times, the masters, they didn't teach their pupils for 20 years. They had to do just something preparatory. They thought that they are not ready, but now the yoga studio teachers, they feel that no, my students are ready. No, this, we have to be careful with that. But this full yogic breath is good for everybody. Rather, it is good that everybody will start to breathe like this, because it will solve so many emotional problems. It will improve so much the health and also the functioning of the mind. Also emotions. When we utilize only upper portion of the lungs and we have chronic lack of vital energy, this center, Anahata chakra, becomes deteriorated. And you get all these emotions. You get anxiety, you get depression, you get, unstoppable thinking. Think and think and think, and you cannot fall asleep. All these things, they come. So just by changing the mode of breathing, you can change a lot. So how to breathe? Okay, the lungs is just like a pear. The upper portion is small, the lower portion is large. So we have to feel first the lower portion, then the middle portion, then the upper portion. Let us experiment. Let us try to breathe first from the upper portion. I already start to suffocate. Then with the chest. Oh, much nicer. But also I spent quite a lot of energy for that. And still not enough. Now I use my belly portion. Much easier, less energy, and much better oxygen consumption. So the full yogic breath is utilizing all three of that. First you start with the belly, with the diaphragm. Expand your stomach. Then go with the chest. Then go with the upper portion. Nice, isn't it? Then when you breathe out, contract your belly, the diaphragm, and then the rest of the lungs. So first expand the diaphragm, expand the chest, expand the upper portion. Then contract the diaphragm, contract the chest and the upper portion. So first feeling the lower portion and then the rest. Because otherwise, if you start from here, then you will lock the air in the lower portion. It will not come out. It will be stale there. And also you pay attention to the breathing out, because to breathe in, everybody can do, everybody will do. But breathing out, not necessarily. And the stale air will be there in the lungs, and it will invite different bacteria. Oh, come, there is a nice atmosphere here. So it increases the risks of the respiratory diseases. Ventilation of the lungs decreases the risk of respiratory diseases and all kinds of cold. So full yogic breath is like that. Fill up the diaphragm, fill up the chest, fill up the upper portion. Then contract the diaphragm and everything. So try to exhale completely. In asanas, especially in the yogic exercise and in meditation. In meditation, if we pay too much attention to the breath, then it will distract us from the object of meditation. So I will advise you, this is your homework. Before every meditation, sit there and do 10 times full, complete cycles of breath. And then leave it. Don't pay attention. Let it go naturally. But you already have ventilated the lungs. Also during the daytime, especially if you see you are in a stressful situation, just stop for a moment and do the full yogic breath. You will see the changes in the mind are remarkable. Many people, they wrote me, they said, Dada, this is so blissful. How come? I didn't know this. It's just so fantastic. Yes, it is so fantastic. When you breathe properly and when you breathe slowly, you enjoy a very calm, very peaceful, very blissful state of the mind. Also, yogis, they say that there are a certain number of breaths given to you in this life. You can breathe fast and die soon, or you can breathe slowly and live a long life. So this is your choice. Yeah, thank you very much. Now we have passed the half of the course. I congratulate you. I respect you. I give my respects to you. This is something very wonderful. And from the next video, we will touch some deeper aspects of spiritual practice. I will explain how to activate and engage our emotions, how to awaken love within ourselves. And this is really something very, very special, something very unique and beautiful. Namaskara.